time that we're able to support a grandmother with generating produce in their backyard and putting together an auto watering system, or creating a cold tray, or showing up at a community garden and volunteering, or collecting trash, or helping with a grocery store. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that's controlled by something that we call the commons. That is the commons. Anytime we're supporting community and each other in any capacity, that's the commons. If we can figure out how to iterate that and how to collate that into whatever structure makes sense, great. But there's nothing that says that we can't collectively just decide to do a meetup one day and we're just going to go flash mob someplace and help and be involved and make a difference. And if we can figure out that identity and figure out how to really bring ourselves into the community at that level and make ourselves known as like, this is a force. This is a force that we're creating that's to be reckoned with. It needs to go forward in that direction, and we're going to be able to do some cool stuff.
Beautiful response, Shannon. If we could keep it to like a 30-second little zing, just like a little seed form.
On that note, some of us are co-organizing a residency series in Amsterdam this spring called the Cosmo Local Playground, where we will be innovating the commons. So if you want to come innovate at the commons, then come hang out with us in Amsterdam.
Embrace the other in other people.
I grow food. I'm from Chicago, south side of Chicago. I actually grow different types of vegetables and also fruit plants, fruit trees, and I just started doing this in Chicago with my for my own family. So that's part of what I'm doing. That's part of my story. So
I just want to say, is this working? Let's transform what was once called the tragedy of the commons into the triumph of the commons. And we can do that. We can do that shit. Let's do it. Let's go.
So I want to speak into the space concept I reflect on a lot, but I don't hear it talked about much. It's the concept of eldership. And this is something I was oriented with through the Cowichan people. That's where I'm from on Vancouver Island. It's the Cowichan Valley, and very strong First Nations people there. And I started noticing, it wasn't taught to me, but in the gatherings, there's just a sort of practice where whoever is the eldest in the space has the freedom to speak, and they'll just tell stories and they'll just talk, and sometimes it goes on for hours, and it kind of works its way down, and you'll have a whole day gathering where it's just 8 hours of sort of storytelling, and eventually by the end of the day it gets down to the youth who are now supercharged and have all these thoughts, and they're ready to share and start planning, and they bring all that energy. And that's something I've really appreciated about my time here, is getting to spend time with the elders. Angelique over here is a very young elder, but definitely an elder amongst us, and I really appreciate what she has brought. She's aware of a water project where radioactive soil is being used to build a water reservoir, and I just think this is the most critical issue that we could be aware of. And so, yeah, I wanted to bring that to the space concept of eldership.
There's a profound irony in me telling anybody to yap less, but let's try to keep them lightning. Let's try to get everybody speaking. Let's try to get everybody telling this story and being a part of it. Just even if you got 5 seconds to say, if you got one word. Love.
So, we all have heard of Joe Dispenza, who talks about dreaming into our future instead of dreaming into our past. So I just want to remind us all that when we're daydreaming, when we're not being conscious of our mind, to just check in and see what vibration it is that we're holding in place. Is it what's behind us, or is it where we're going together? And I invite us all to just let that be our daydream. Whatever it is, just like keep moving our minds and our hearts and asking the questions into this moving forward direction, because we're magic and we are the essence of all life. So we get to call the shots. We are the sovereign beings, and it's in our water that we hold that space. So let's keep our water attuned and moving in the right directions. Thank you.
I just want to say that I know collaboration is a hard problem. It's hard to figure out ways to work together, and it's very clear to me we all need each other. You know, all the things that we're doing actually support each other in various ways and prepare the ground even in other people being able to understand the other work that we're doing. And so we may not all be working together, but we still all need each other, and I appreciate that.
Real quick signal boost to that. It's a miracle that we didn't succeed and all become Microsoft, so that we're all here so that we can become Voltron.
Out collaborate the competition.
In the spirit of collaboration, how about we create a pool and pull all our offerings together, and that way we can help one another grow.
Fuck yes.
Listen to her. Start a commitment pool with your community and see what happens.
Just keep moving at the speed of trust. Find people you trust around you and spread that out. Build it. Share what you have to share and build those networks and keep pooling.
You can just do things. You don't need permission to plant a seed.
Yeah. It's easy to talk the talk, but it's hard to walk the walk. And therefore, please, after talking the talk, remind yourself that 1 meter in practice is more worth than 100 meter in theory.
Everything that the acorn, that the oak tree will ever be, and everything it will always provide, is contained within that original acorn.
I think it's really important to try your best to see yourself in other people. And your thoughts about individualism were really powerful, and I think that we need to practice less of that mindset. So super, super awesome.
More individuality, less individualism. Individualism eats individuality. It breeds conformity.
See the spark of the gift of life and help other people see that spark in themselves and each other. And if you and other person can help foster that spark in each other, you can change the world. You can work with somebody who thinks that you're entirely different. And if you can relate on receiving the gift of life, what a blessing, and nurture that.
I guess I'd just say that whole systems, transformational efforts, regenerative efforts at a whole community level are real, and we can really cooperate and get together and see that happen at a community level. And then I love the vision of every community connected in a whole global nation or global citizenship of all these interconnected communities, and it can happen fast, and these technology layers and resourcing layers are big pieces of it that are the connectors, and people's hearts and love and actually being willing to do it. You can do it.
I'd say coming to GFEL and being here with all of you has really made me more awake to the situation that I was coming from before this. It's been eye-opening, and I've always really felt strongly about how corporations are kind of taking things over and centralization of control and stuff like that. But I didn't really have a group of people that I knew that were into that same stuff. So it's really cool to just meet all you and hear all these amazing concepts to try and work together.
Same here. I feel that this has been a very long journey in which I was by myself, and it rocks my world to see so many people working on the same thing and finally meeting each other. I think the dream would be to actually create business models and financial propositions that are actually working with the intelligence of the planet. But in order to do that, we actually need to listen and understand the planet. And yes, and hopefully in the next generation we'll see that. Or in this one.
Collective liberation. Working towards liberation at different levels. The internal, the interpersonal, the group, the systemic, and the ideological. All those are necessary. All those are necessary.
Well, this is, keep going, sorry.
I want us to be self-reflective, because it's important to not just preach to the converted, but also understand why sometimes our message doesn't get across the group that we're in here right now. It's really important that while we are doing what we're doing, that we value and also trust in our values and keep them, and we should never ever let the trolls win.
I just want to give a big thank you to Zach. Thanks for putting us all on stage. Thanks for blessing us with your poetry. And yeah, I think it's been an awesome day today, and I think we should call it now. That's a good wrap. Thanks for this experiment. One more photo. Generation. Talk to Zach if you have video footage. He'll take it.
Or story needs. Love you all.